Hi, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I am so glad you're here. Today's date is Monday, September 26th, 2022. And today's rabbit trail involves our neighbors to the north. There is some alt media reporting that military presence has been seen in Ottawa. Now, that is not necessarily newsworthy, except the chatter is that what has been seen there is U.S. federal marshals. Now, as you know from one of my previous videos, if there's any federal branch of law enforcement I have respect for, it is U.S. federal marshals. They have a long history that's pretty darn good. They've had, a couple of scandals in the past and what have you, but they do seem to be operating with honor and integrity systemically rather than just simply little odd pockets of it, as we're seeing with our other law enforcement agencies, where there are individual agents who have some integrity and want to uphold the law, but systemically they've gotten weaponized and politicized. So whenever I hear news that involves U.S. Marshals, I'm kind of interested. And let me show you what I'm talking about here as far as where the chatter's coming from, okay? Okay, this is yesterday's. You can see what I'm talking about. I'm not going to verbally say where this is. And this was talking about U.S. federal marshal spotted. Norm Traversy, who's on the ground there, put in that report, speaking more, at least in the portion I heard, about large black unmarked but military type vehicles that were making it travel very, very slow on a Sunday through the streets of Ottawa near the Parliament building. Interesting, huh? Okay, 1 second. Now, I don't make a video about everything that I find interesting, or I'd be on here nonstop. But I do like to sometimes honor viewer requests. And coupled with that was a request I had on my Rumble channel from a beloved subscriber, Michigan Hillbilly. He asked if I would do a read about Ottawa. And not only had he seen the alt media video I'm just referenced, but he was actually on a hunting trip with a buddy who's a U.S. federal marshal that had to leave on an emergency. So we know we are in an exciting window of time here with the end of September and into October. And normally I avoid Canadian reads simply because if there's one country that's got more government dysfunction and corruption than the U.S., that's it. But let's ask the cards tonight. Are there truly U.S. federal marshals on active duty in Ottawa? And is there other information about that presence that the universe cares to share with us? Remember, the universe is very literal, so your question is very important. It needs to be one question, but it can always be framed with, and is there other information you want to share? So that's how I try to do things. So are U.S. federal marshals truly being seen in on duty in downtown Ottawa? And is there other information the universe wants us to know? Let's find out. Okay, federal marshals present in Ottawa. This is true. And is there other information the universe is willing to share about this possible situation? Because for sure, the mainstream media won't be covering it. Okay. I'm assuming the whole deck was upside down because that first card was, so let's see. Okay, we have the Six of Swords, the Fool, Seven of Cups, Four of Pentacles, Four of Cups, King of Cups, the Chariot. So we asked, were U.S. federal marshals present? Are they truly present in Ottawa? And is there other information the universe can share? Here's what I'm getting. Yes, because it's a unique situation. They are present the sightings have been truly accurate. So they are present. It is part of protecting and enforcing some consequences. Okay, now, so I said it was a unique situation because the Fool's here. He's always kind of a journey start. So as our world is changing and things are coming more openly into play, we are in some new territory as far as activities and situations. Now, look, we've got this card for me, the Seven of Cups. We've lots of cups here. And cups are about emotions, not so much action. If it was more legal, it would be the swords. So the swords here, the one time it's showing up here so far, is indicating our U.S. Marshals. Okay. The cups, the Seven of Cups is always a one of look here, not there, kind of obfuscation type of thing. So they are not going to be, their purpose there is not going to be not only hitting the mainstream, but they're going to be, those who are involved in whatever this action is, are going to be told to keep it confidential. So there's not going to be a lot of public information about what's going on. We have, for the present, the Four of Pentacles, which he is always about conservative use of resources. So the resource of the U.S. Federal Marshal is working in conjunction with other agencies there in Ottawa. Let's get a sense of if it's because there's arrests going on, or is it underground related, or what's happening. In the near future, we've got the Four of Cups. Now, with the Four of Cups, that is one of, there's some things that are obvious, again, like we're getting with the rest of this, and then there's something that's not quite so obvious. In fact, he can be practically bored, like, oh, the status quo, things aren't happening. Don't we get that way? Things aren't happening. It's not in the mainstream, so nothing's going on yet. But it truly, truly is. Okay, the King of Cups is showing up here. He's tricky. He's very much in charge of his emotions. Often for me, he can be the Canadian Mr. T, or the person playing the part of Canadian Mr. T. Tricky, knows how to keep a poker face, you know. And so he is involved with this activity. So it has something to do with government officials, or those playing the parts of government officials. The Chariot is one of my white hat type of cards, often indicating the white hat or the alliance activities, always when things are on the move. So we have situations that are in flux even as I'm making this video. Things are on the move. Now, he is the Emperor's younger energy. Sometimes I wonder, but I haven't had enough indications yet, if he's the JFK Jr. card for me. I don't know, but I do know he's solidly a white hat and actions are going on. So we've got the resources of the U.S. Federal Marshals working in conjunction with others. They won't be able to be truly candid about all their purposes there. And the cards haven't been asked in such a way that they're going to disclose information anyway about that. And that's good. We don't want people being put in harm's way because of intuitive information that we may get here. Because yes, intuitive information does kind of bypass the mainstream party line and things like that. We can sometimes get some really good, accurate information, but we don't want to do it at the expense of the safety or integrity of others who are working for the alliance to bring change about. Let's get a couple of cards here. Okay. We got the Death card, and we have the Five of Pentacles. Now, with the Five of Pentacles, there is some willing hardship going on. The Death card is one of transformation. So I think Canada's getting ready to see some big changes going on in their political structures and policies. And there are some people that are going to, that have willingly, we know the trucker convoy put up for months hardship and a lot of bad press. So there's some change in the wind for Canada, and US is involved with it, interestingly enough. Let's get a couple more cards here and see what's going on. We have another Cups card, lots of cups. There's lots of emotions going on here, not so much actions and not so much words, thoughts and words. And more cups, more and more cups. Okay. Now, Page of Cups is often my nice surprise card. Okay. So while some of what's going on in Ottawa is not going to hit the public, I do think guys on the ground should be trying to gather and glean what they can. And ultimately, it's going to be an improvement of Canada's situation. So I think with this card, we do have some arrests and apprehensions going on. And US Marshals, yes, they are involved, but they're working in conjunction with other agencies. They can't be fully candid about what happens with all of it, but something's going to be made known, and it's going to make a lot of people happy. So changes in the wind for Canada in their government. And as I said, it won't be all obvious to us. It may be related to the fact that the British Army has now been released from their oath of allegiance to the monarchy, and that would extend into Canada to some extent. That may be why there's more multinational cooperation. Interesting that who was called was the U.S. Federal Marshals and not UN, isn't it? Because like I said, I see if there's any federal law enforcement agency that could wear a white hat, it would be the U.S. Federal Marshals, and definitely not the UN peacekeeping forces. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for your time, and I do appreciate it. It's precious, it's limited, and we need to spend it wisely. So I'm very honored that you thought spending some of it with me was worthwhile. I do appreciate that. On a personal note, thank you to my new subscribers. Welcome to my channel. And to those of you that have had to resubscribe because of YouTube shenanigans, welcome back. Also, I recently opened a Buy Me a Coffee account, and several people have found it and bought me coffees, and thank you very much. You don't have to. I do profit from this channel, but I don't rely on that profit. I try to live pretty simply and manage without it. So that way, if YouTube ever threatens to demonetize me, it's kind of like, huh, that's okay. I can deal with it. I don't want to keep it that way if I can. So anyway, again, thank you so much. Have a nice day, and keep your eyes on the ground. Oh, one last thing. This isn't intuitive at all. This is just a sharing. I mentioned that when I was in Anchorage some time back, a big event happened. I was in Bangor, and Mar-a-Lago got raided. I'm going to go back to Bangor, much to my surprise, which is several hours drive each way, on Wednesday. So Wednesday, there may be some event that I'm going to go, oh my gosh, I need to be near my camera and video equipment and things like that, unless I just go live on my phone. And even if I do, I don't usually travel with my tarot cards, in the seat beside me. So anyway, be watching Wednesday. Who knows what's going to happen this week? We'll see. In the meantime, there is also some chatter that there's going to be banking interruptions. So you've been told for a long time to have some cash on hand. If you've got the resources to do that, please make sure you have a little cash handy, some extra food. And remember, if the internet goes down or your bank stops, or trading on the stock market stops. These are all actually very positive things. And while it may be a little irritating or disconcerting not to have the access to social media, to your favorite creators, to your friends or what have you, electronically you'd like to have, while you're waiting for it to resolve, just picture good changes happening and our world becoming more like it ought to have been, with a sovereign human race, kind of back learning how to handle their own destiny themselves. Won't that be wonderful? Okay, thank you so much. Good night.